What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to another episode here on the VJVE Group Build being hosted by HobbyLink International. Today we're going to jump right back in on that 1/48 scale Fiat G.55 by Special Hobby. Last time we added in all the wiring, all the piping, so the cockpit is looking pretty awesome. We also added in some scratch built details here on the cockpit floor. I like how that's turned out. So we are finally ready to go ahead and start painting. Now I could come in and prime everything with some Style Res. I'm opting not to do that. So we're just going to jump right in with the paint and not worry about any sort of priming right this second. Now for paint, we're going to be using this color right here. This is a pale green color by Mr. Color. Callout is C312, just in case you're interested. Now this is kind of a lighter green, so we're going to use that for all the internals on the cockpit, as well as the tail wheel and wheel wells as well. Now we do have some of this hemp color right here that we can kind of mix up with that pale green to achieve maybe like a highlight shade or something like that if we so choose. But other than that, we've got lots in thinner. We just picked up a new bottle right here and we are going to jump into a time lapse. Go ahead and paint everything in the cockpit the pale green color. Let's go ahead and get that time lapse going and get that first round of color down on plastic. All right, everybody, we are back, and I'm actually really liking Mr. Color paints. They have a really smooth texture about them. They really airbrush well, and they have some awesome looking shades. So I'm happy. We're going to go ahead and shift over now, though, to detail painting. And for that, we're going to need to use some fine brushes. We're going to get some Tamiya flat black, and we're going to start picking out different panels and different instruments that are going to be that black color. We also have to then eventually get to the PE parts for the internal cockpit. There's 3 different panels. We need to go ahead and shave off all of the details that are built into the plastic. And then we can come in, get that film part, add down the photo etch. So let's go ahead and go back to that time lapse and let's start going ahead and detail painting everything here on the inside of the cockpit. right along, everybody, we actually do have rudder pedal straps in the PE fret, but they just don't call them out in the instructions. I realized that and then cut them out, and when I went to contour them into that half round shape, they both snapped right in the middle. I was a little bit frustrated, so I decided to go back to the tried and true Tamiya tape. I cut very tiny strips of that, I glued them down, I'll paint them with a red-brown color. No one's going to see them. They're way tucked back into the back of the cockpit, so I think it's okay. We also went ahead and did the exact same thing here for that cylinder that we have here on the right side of the cockpit floor. I wanted to add some tie-down straps, so I went again to Tamiya tape. I've cut very tiny strips, and we're just going to glue those down. I'll come on back and I will paint those a nice silver color, something like that. So this is actually moving right along. Tamiya tape always works. So one more thing we have to do here is I want to go ahead and protect all of my work on the inside of the cockpit, and I'm going to overspray everything with a nice coat of Future. This is going to help to protect all of my colors and all of my hard work I've done so far. We'll come back with some Tamiya Panel Line washes. I'm just going to go ahead and try to weather that cockpit down, and I'm hoping it turns out all right. All right, everybody, we are back, and we have done a lot of work here on the G.55 cockpit, so I think we're going to go ahead and call it quits for tonight. Went ahead and added in a nice flat coat of Winsor & Newton matte varnish just to go ahead and make sure everything is sealed up, and we bring that sheen down just a little bit. I think it turned out pretty decently. We also added in a few other little details here and there, and we glued in the instrument panel, and we added in any photo etch that we found necessary. To be honest, the photo etch on the sidewalls for the throttle and all that, you can't see them. I put 2 levers up there, and they are basically lost in the detail. So I'm not going to put on any of the other ones. I just don't want to waste my time on things you're never going to see. On the cockpit floor, went ahead and added in the seat belts and the seat. Man, those seat belts were a real pain, but we got them in there. We got everything glued down. I like how it looks, and everything is painted and again sealed with a nice matte varnish. On the other side of the cockpit here, we have our instrument panel glued in place. Everything is nicely overcoated with that matte varnish. A little dry brushing on the instrument panels and all the dials, but it might be a little bit too heavy. I don't know for sure yet, but we're going to have to leave it here for now. We'll come on back next episode and push through with sealing up the cockpit, getting everything glued in, and then moving on to the wings and seeing how that all goes together. So until our next episode, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. You guys know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool. And we'll see you back here on the next episode of the VJVE Group Build hosted by Hobby Link International. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.